Hey, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Let me tag some folks. Everybody know that things started. Hello, hello. Hey, y'all. Hey, Samia. Am I saying your name right? I am. Hello, welcome. Monietta, Jazz, welcome on the call. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna give everybody just a minute to filter on in. Make sure I tag some folks that wanted to make sure they were here today. Hey, Sarah. How's your day going? Tag Tylisha. If you got a CCOS system ready to, that was trying to make this. Hey, Ebony, welcome. Make sure she makes it over here so we don't miss out. And let me share the Zoom in the chat so that if you want to come and participate and share y'all got the Zoom link. So if you want to log in, you can come on and join. All right. How y'all been doing? Talk to me in the chat while we give everybody a moment. All right. I'll tag everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hey, I guess your name is pronounced Sarana?
Correct.
Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here and could make it. We're giving everybody a minute to filter in. Just getting settled in. And so we're going in the Facebook group and we're also on Zoom. So give everybody a chance to make it. We'll get started in just a minute, y'all. Yeah. I hope y'all are excited about the topic. I know it's a big one for us that are dealing with this. If you'd like to go ahead and start talking in the chat about why you were interested in being here for today's sister circle, please leave a comment either in the Zoom chat or in the Facebook Live chat so we can start getting this conversation started on everybody. What brought y'all in today? Anything that you could take away from today's circle about sugar addiction, drop a comment and let me know. Sure to try my best to meet those needs. All right. Okay. So let's just jump in. So let's start off by just about sugar. Why is this even an important topic, for women that are working on reversing PCOS? So sugar is highly addictive, meaning that it lights up the dopamine response in your brain. It literally gives you a reward mentally and emotionally when you eat it. Okay. So when you eat sugar, it will light up dopamine centers and it causes this big chain reaction where you're literally getting rewarded for eating it. And not only do we get a dopamine kick where we feel these positive emotional responses when we eat sugar, but it's been clinically proven that it does decrease cortisol levels when we eat sugar. So there's a reason why when we feel stressed out, we go for the sugar. It's not because you have no willpower or you're unable to control yourself. Like literally, your body is looking for something that can bring the cortisol levels down, and we're wired to reach for sugar. And in today's society, it is so available versus previous days and times where we didn't have so much access to sugar laden foods. And most of the sugar we did get access to was in the form of whole foods, in the form of whole foods. And even that was seasonal. It wasn't all the time. So you can imagine we're kind of up against this difficult situation of trying to manage the physiological impact of sugar, trying to learn how to manage stress without it, and then to like coordinate and navigate our relationship with food in general, and then specifically with sugar. So it feels like sometimes, well, man, the cards are stacked against us. Like, what do we do about it? So that's why I wanted to come together and talk about it, because when we're dealing with PCOS, our sugar cravings are even more intense than those without a similar condition. And that's because when insulin and blood glucose spiked, then you have a drop in blood sugar. That drop will then cause you to go looking for something sweet. When you're already predisposition to be sensitive to stress, then your ability to handle stress is less than another person without PCOS. So we're even more likely to reach for something like a sweet food to soothe our stress. And so we get caught in this loop of eating behaviors like grabbing something sweet after dinner, thinking about sweets on your way home from work, you know, we're indulging and then seeing this kind of like almost a binge cycle, and not really even to the point of disordered eating, and maybe so to the point of disordered eating, but you'll see this cycle where you're like overeating the sweets and then you pull back and then you're swinging back into overeating again, especially closer to when our periods are coming on. We'll notice that we want more sugar. I know y'all been through that. So drop a one in the chat if this is with you so far. And if it is, I'd love to hear what your personal experiences have been with what I'm describing on this physical level, how you've lived it out. Um, so we've talked about, okay, why sugar? Why is it important to talk about as a woman that is working on reversing PCOS? We've talked about why we're more predisposed to crave sugar. But I wanted to dig deeper. It's about more than even just the physical and the physiological experiences with sugar. It's also about how we grew up as children. So, asking this question today, like, as a child, were you one of those children that was considered like an old soul? Were you really sensitive to your surroundings and very sensitive emotionally? Um, did you feel like you didn't quite fit in with the family group or your peer group? Did you feel kind of like a misfit or just different? And it's worth it to explore how you felt as a, because it definitely plays a part in our relationship with food, with sugar, with processed foods, and with our bodies in general. When we grow up living as sensitive and intuitive and emotional beings that are unable to truly speak our truth and to express our emotions to other people for fear of repercussions, or for not wanting to shake things up with the adults in our lives. So, for example, if you were kind of like an intuitive child that was just very in tune to her environment and the people around her, you may have had some realizations about the people in your life. Like maybe you knew a truth that you didn't want to say out loud because you knew it would ruffle some feathers. Or maybe you did speak up a time or two and you were met with a very negative reaction when you shared how you were feeling or what you saw to be the truth, or your insights. And so when we grow up with any sort of repression of our intuition, of our insights, of our verbal expressions about our emotions, then we will turn to food as a coping mechanism, as a way to distract ourselves from the deeper feelings that are not being made space for in our childhood. And so you might want to spend some time after today just kind of reflecting and thinking back, what was my childhood like? Did I feel free to express myself when I had these deeper insights? Was I that type of child? And did I learn to turn to food to distract myself from my deeper feelings and insights? And so it's like when you start to look at it from this lens of looking at your emotional roots, your childhood expressions and experiences, with food and sugar, you're being invited this deeper internal work, and giving up sugar, when you give up what has helped you cope, it is very important to then do the work to not have to return back to sugar to cope, because you can give it up. We've probably all done this where you come off sugar for a while. Maybe you do something for the new year, you give up sugar for a month, or you go on some challenge and you just like go sugar free, or maybe low carb or some other, means of moderating intake. And then you fall off. That's what happens, and you just fall off the wagon. And so when that happens, we find ourselves lapsing and getting back on the sugar treadmill of just eating it day to day and not being happy with ourselves for these behaviors. And so the way we get off of that sugar treadmill, so to speak, that cycle of returning back again and again, is to make sure that we tend to the emotional roots and the childhood roots to our behaviors. And so when we enter into our internal world, it can be kind of like this labyrinth, a labyrinth. If you can picture a labyrinth in your mind, it's really a very old archetype and it's an old image. And it consists of like one pathway that loops back repeatedly on itself and reaches the center and then winds its way back out again. It's not a maze, because there's no barriers, there's no false turns, there's no dead ends, but it is a symbol of the journey of our lives. There's going to be this journey where we go through life and then we figure out that who we are right now is not going to get us to where we want to be. So then we kind of die to that version of ourselves and then we're like reborn. And so there's this like life, death, and rebirth that we go through, especially as women. We go through this cycle every month when we go through hormonal changes. It's like we have a shedding emotionally and mentally and energetically. We're letting go of so much every month. So you could understand why, even beyond the hormones and the physiological reasons why we reach for sugar when we're close to our period, we also reach for it because we want the comfort. We want the comfort emotionally as we go through a shedding and a rebirth process every month. So if we can meditate on this symbolism of a labyrinth, of returning to the inner self and going inside of ourselves, back to in our internal world where we began as children, and going back to self and letting ourselves know like it's safe to be here in this world, to speak up, to speak your truth, to speak out loud, to say what you're feeling, what you notice, to share your insights, to trust your intuition. It's safe. Speak up, and you can handle all that life is bringing you without having to depend on sugar to do it and to cope. So, will this happen overnight? No. It's definitely a journey. But today is just about introducing these concepts to your mind, giving you some food for thought, and kind of you to go into the labyrinth, to the path of your journey to the internal environment. And this is where you find your true thoughts, your true feelings, your true desires when they're not being stuffed back down by sugar foods. Your emotions are not being dulled by the soothing effect that sugar so powerfully holds. Very temporary. It's not true comfort. It's not true soothing. And so there is a power in your emotions. There is a power in your intuition and in your own voice. And when you let go of sugar and its dulling effects, you can tap into that power. You can, in other words, you get to hear your own wisdom and you get to hear God speaking to you more clearly when sugar is not getting into the way, almost like static in the interception of signals, where it's literally including our ability to focus and have a clear mind and not have so many blood sugar spikes and spikes in our testosterone. So I want to end by sharing that sugar does reduce cortisol, like I was sharing. It does. So there's a very real temporary soothing effect that sugar has. But so does healthy fats. Healthy fats also decrease cortisol. So the way this happens, especially with animal fats, when you eat something that's rich in cholesterol, rich in those saturated fats like salmon and grass-fed butter, goat butter, um, eggs even, or what else? It's not coming to me off the top of my mind, but any sort of fatty source of saturated animal fats can actually give your body more of the cholesterol that it needs to make sex and stress hormones. So if we're not eating enough dietary saturated animal fats, we may not have enough of the building blocks to make the hormones that help feel soothed and calm without the need for sugar to do it. Yes, you can make cholesterol in your liver, but everybody's liver functioning may not be up to par with the amount of stress and sex hormone production that's needed based on our current circumstances. So we need almost like this back pocket supply, overflow of saturated fats, cholesterol, etc., so that we can always make enough sex hormones and enough stress hormones to life and stress and to heal. So when we do eat sugar, there's a cascading effect. It will influence almost every root cause to PCOS. So it's going to spike your insulin and spike your glucose. When that happens, it spikes the production of androgens, including testosterone, which is what's fueling PCOS, acne, and unwanted facial and body hair, balding, and shedding. And it's going to spike inflammation, which only makes things like adrenal and inflammation-based PCOS much, much worse. So here's my invitation. I want to invite everybody that's watching live or the replay, deep dive into your childhood and think about your relationship with sugar. If you're using it to act and dull your light and your truth and your voice, how you would love your relationship with sugar to going forward, and then to take some steps to look at where you can include more healthy animal fats into your daily intake. Ideally, you'd have some healthy fat every 3 hours so that you're blunting the spikes off. You're keeping your blood sugar very stable and balanced. And this will produce a deep state of calm. And from this place, you'll have a exponentially less incidences of sugar cravings. So that's all I have for you all today. Would anybody like to share that is on the Zoom call about your personal journey with sugar or any takeaways from what I've shared today? All right. So we don't have any takeaways today, but if any insights come back up, feel free to share your thoughts in the Facebook group under in the the replay. If you need more in-depth support journey, I will leave my chat in the chat below the replay so you can schedule a call with me. And if you need additional support with quitting sugar, I'll also leave the link to a guide that's all about 5 simple ways to quit sugar. I hope this was helpful, you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.